Simpson, and tonight we're back on Channel 10 at 8:45 with Shark Tank. There's plenty of questions that people are asking about small business, and we're going to answer some of them tonight. If you've got a question, add it below in the comments section and I'll see if I can get to it. We're going to keep this short and sharp because I do have to go and make myself look fabulous for the show tonight, and I'm really excited for what you will get to see tonight. But let's get started with the questions. Jeanette sent one in earlier. She asked me, what is the best business advice that you have ever received? Now, I have to say, I have been in business for close to 2 decades and I have had plenty of advice. In fact, this is almost a whole book. Last month we did a whole section on NaomiSimpson.com on just best advice. My best advice for any entrepreneur is to listen. It is to listen to your customers, your suppliers, your people, and to make sure you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. The most important thing is to stay somehow in the world of your customer, literally walking in their shoes. We can begin to take our businesses for granted when customers come, but when they stop coming, we often don't know why. So if you are always listening to your customers, what this means is you'll have some level of listening posts, whether it's advisory groups, whether it's reading reviews, but make sure you're listening. I think that actually works for life, not just in business. So great question, Jeanette. Love it. Great way to kick off. But Michelle's got a question. Now, she asked earlier today, what do you look for in an investment? And do you have particular industries that you're interested in? I have to say, Michelle, when somebody walks onto set, I have no preconception. It's not just about the product or the industry. It's also about the person. Can I work with them? I do have areas of my own expertise that I want to bring to that investment, but I am never, ever formulaic in my approach to a pitch. So sometimes I see something and go, oh, who on earth, I wouldn't, and then I fall in love with it and end up putting up my hand. And I absolutely know that this season you will be surprised. Do not take any of us sharks for granted. You'll see banter between Janine and I. We don't always see eye to eye. And we definitely will not be taken for granted. The one thing I hate the most is when people walk into the tank and they've already decided which shark they want. And if they're only talking to Steve, you'll find that they get a few curt words from me pretty quickly. So I do not have industries. I have kind of trends, focuses. I have areas of my own expertise that I'm looking for. So please don't assume that any shark is going to go for a particular investment. I promise you we will surprise you this season. Now, Beck has got a great question. What is the biggest inspiration and drive to succeed during my 20s? A very long time ago. But I had great role models, Beck. My mother worked in business. In fact, she worked on the first computer in Australia, and she worked for one of Australia's great entrepreneurs, a woman by the name of Lindsay Cattermole. And that was my normal. And I wanted to be like them when I grew up, and what that meant that I needed to invest in myself. And my mother was always a big believer in education, not necessarily what I learned, but my ability to learn. And that has stayed with me forever. Every single day I'm curious, I'm interested, and I learn. Continuing to learn will serve you. So in my 20s, what drove me was I wanted to own a home, I wanted to have a nice lifestyle, I wanted to have children. I was on that kind of treadmill, and it served me. So I wanted those things for myself, and I definitely wanted to have a family. So my curiosity has served me in my own career growth. I didn't leave corporate life until my 30s. In fact, I started my first business in my early 30s. Tonight you'll see on Shark Tank that actually I was very early to market. We have somebody in her early 70s who started a business. There is no age when it comes to starting your own show. How I stay enthusiastic is all around listening to customers and seeing the contribution. So even in my own little team, we often have this game called Catch a Compliment, where people, if they've read my books or seen something, I love to hear the impact that I've had on others. And that's what drives me now, is the impact that I have on others. So I'm just going to define one more thing for you, Beck, especially if you're in your 20s, is to know the difference between passion and purpose. Passion is your energy. It's something that will drive you. It's it's something that you can't help talk about, and you are really keen to get done. So you might be passionate about chess, but your purpose is about how you contribute to others. It's about, well, how did I make the world a better place? And when you listen to that, and you may not yet be at the place where you know what your purpose is, so just stay curious. Observe when you feel this energy. Observe when you feel a sense of accomplishment. Observe when you feel proud, and that may well be where your purpose lies. But really wonderful, wonderful question. So Lauren says hi. Hi, Lauren. Lauren also asks, how do you find the perfect work-life balance with 3 kids? 3? I think I've got more than that, and I've got a dog, and I've got employees. You know, if you're going to change the world, work-life balance might not be the right metric for success. So when you're completely committed to something, you work particularly hard. The thing for me is it doesn't occur as work. I love what I do every day. I bound out of bed. And even when I'm feeling, you can even hear it in my voice a little bit now, I have been playing absolutely full out doing the work that I do. But it is about looking after myself. So I find that if I look after myself earliest in the day, then that gives me an opportunity to really contribute for the rest. So I get up early. I make sure that I have my own ritual for walking the dog and eating well and looking after myself, because I am no good to anybody if I don't look after myself, and it's really important. The other thing is, being a parent is about being present with my children, and when I'm with them, I'm really with them. I put away the phone and I make sure that I'm listening to the conversations. I'm playing the games they want to play. I am interested in their world. And I think that goes for anything. If you want a feeling of well-being, then make sure that you are truly present. Some years ago, I wrote a blog post called, which challenged people to put away their mobile device in front of others, and to leave it so that they were only present. So in other words, if you were in a taxi, you put it aside. If you were at bus stops, you put it aside. And I had quite some abuse saying, how could I possibly suggest that? And yet, if we're going to connect to others, we really need to make sure that we're truly present. So I need to grab a drink of water and also make sure I can see some more questions. They've disappeared for a little second, so let me have a little chug-a-lug. Never mind me. We're all doing this live. That's the whole point, isn't it? Fantastic. Well, anyway, great question, Lauren. Now, Matthew has asked a question just a few moments ago. Oh, there we go. Nice. Matthew asked, what is the funniest thing that happened to you on the show? Oh, my goodness. Seriously. This season, you'll see, Glenn thinks he's hilarious when he throws a prosthetic dog poo at me. I did not find that amusing at all. There's a particular pitch which involves dog doo-doos, and he just thinks he'll chuck one at me, and I just was complete, and I might have screamed a little too loud. I think one of the other things is it's really weird to see yourself on national television, and I had no idea how loud I laughed. I had no idea until I was on TV, which is really funny. Cheers, sorry about that, everyone. So anyway, do watch. I think this season we're particularly funny. Well, we think we are, but it might be a lot of dad jokes, but never mind. So Sahal asks, how do you judge an entrepreneur while they are pitching? I know that is their moment in the sun. And I really try hard not to judge them. More to kind of think about, wow, how amazing it is that they've got the courage to stand in front of us. What if that was me, and to be in their shoes? I think we're incredibly respectful, and the only time we're not respectful is when people are flippant with us or don't listen. And you'll see tonight that there's a pitch about recruitment. Now, I'm sitting next to the world's greatest recruiter of all time. This guy comes in and tries to tell Andrew how the recruitment process works. So that level of arrogance is never going to allow us to connect with that person. It's an interesting and educational, insightful pitch, but even still we don't judge. I do assess and I do work out if I want to be in that person's future. If you think about it, I've collected businesses from the first series, the second series, and now we're moving into the third series. That's a lot of businesses to work with. So I want to make sure that I can get along with them, that I believe in them, and that they are going to do the work. Even if you come onto Shark Tank, it doesn't mean that it is set and forget. There is a lot of work to get done. And so if you're not up for a big game, it's not going to work for you. So I'm very much looking for that. Great question, though, Sahal. The other thing is, with a pitch, make sure that you're in the world of the people that you're pitching to. I think it's really, really important to make sure that you know a little bit about the people and to build some level of empathy with us. And tell us the story. I love a vivid story. And yeah, some of the best pitches I've ever seen have been those people who I literally understand instantly the world that they are in. Hey, Daniel. Daniel asks, what's my favourite food? Seafood. I see food and I eat it. So that's pretty much anything. Look, I love all food, but what a curious question. I feel very fortunate that we live in Australia and we have access to wonderful whole foods and foods that are full of nutrition. So my favourite foods are those that nurture my body, and I do go to the local organic market and Harris Farm markets as well, as if I can't get to my local market, because I do know that they produce really beautiful food. So Ellie's got a question. She says, what are the best numbers to talk about when pitching in Shark Tank? Oh, we love a number, but you've got to get it right. So think about your business, or think about a business. What is the critical number? Now, the critical number for your success. So if I think about RedBalloon, you might think it's the profit or how much it costs to get a customer. Now, my critical number in my business is the number of people. You see, the way I grew my business was through word of mouth. It was before the age of social media. So I wanted people to talk about it. So I knew the more people that went on an experience, the more likely they were that they were going to talk about it. So my critical number was the number of people who went off and did an experience. And when I started my business, there was no such thing as social media. But then as we moved forward, people could amplify their RedBalloon experience online. And that meant that instead of talking to maybe 10 people, they were speaking to hundreds of people. So my job was to look after the experience of the experience, the number of people, and also what we call the net promoter score, which is how people talk about us. So the critical number to speak about when you're pitching, first of all, you need to put into context what that number is. And it's not necessarily profit. It may well be how you can amplify that particular critical number to grow your business. So NPS might be one, net promoter score, cost of acquisition of a customer, and now I'm getting very, very technical, but numbers are important, know them. We will ask the question in different sorts of ways. So I am just going back to find, oh, now I'm taking a photo of myself. Fantastic. Oh, what's going on? Oh, look at me. So technology savvy. Oh, thanks. That's Catherine. So that Ellie was talking about numbers. Alison, oh, you've asked a great question. Do you follow your instinct, or is it based on figures or a combo of how you choose? Instinct is a really interesting conversation. Gut feel. What is that sixth sense? Look, I do trust my instinct. If I think that somebody is not telling me the truth, I'm usually right. If somebody is not confident in what they're saying and I ask a few questions, there is usually a reason why. Instinct does play a big part in business. I want to do business with people that I enjoy the company of, the people I like, but most importantly, people I respect. Respect, trust, and integrity are three critical elements for any successful business and any successful business relationship, and that does come from the gut. I absolutely trust my sixth sense. So let's wrap it up. Spence has got a question. I love seeing new Aussie Yeah, now we know why we're wrapping it up, because I can't speak anymore. Spence asks, I love seeing new Aussie inventions on the show. Will we see many this season, and what can you tell us about them? Well, Spence, you won't believe what you get to see on air. This season of Shark Tank, I think they've done a wonderful job in how we expose more businesses. So in the last 2 seasons, you've seen about 60 presentations every season. But this year, you'll get to see, I think, 85 or 90. We have a wonderful way of exposing you to some incredible Aussie innovations without not necessarily going into the whole business story. We do think it's our job to amplify ideas that may well get turned into businesses, but it is not just about the business. So you will see a very, very special device that is the cross between a pooper scooper and a how do I weed my garden. And so if you're down there doing the pooper scooper, well, then at the same time you can do the weeding. So who would have thought of that? And this guy is fabulous, and his daughters encouraged him to come on air. We've got a set of tongs, completely different business, that flip sausages in a way you've never seen it before. There seems to be a big theme around parties this season. There's those who like to clean up parties, those who like to have party wear, and there's definitely a whole theme about parties, because clearly Australians love to party, and there's money in parties. So, the only way you'll find out is if you join us tonight at 8:45. I'm really proud of this season. I know all the Sharks are very proud of the businesses that we will get to bring to the Australian audiences. So join us at 8:45 straight after MasterChef on Channel 10. Keep those questions coming, and I will actually take on answering more questions, but you'll have to go to join.naomisimson.com, add your details, and then we're happy to take these offline and we'll answer some more questions just in writing with our group. So thank you so much. Have fun tonight. Enjoy it. And we'll see you after MasterChef on 10.